Welcome to Sex Positive Gaming. I'm Annie, and today we're going to look at one of the most requested flavors, Impregnation. There are a ton of games that have impregnation endings, but I want to focus on the titles where pregnancy is a core aspect of the game and where the main character is an active participant. So here are 12 of the top baby making games. First up, we have Breeders of the Nephelym. This is a fantasy monster and furry breeding simulation available for PC, on Steam, and Patreon. So this is basically Pokemon with monsters and furries. Gotta breed them all. This game allows you to play as male, female, or fuda. You are also allowed a huge level of customization to make your character as masculine, feminine, or androgynous as you like. As you breed and are bred with each of the anthropomorphic cows, foxes, butterflies, centaurs, cats, plants, dogs, slimes, titans, and others, evolutions, variants, and mutations emerge. There is not much to the gameplay outside of the breeding mechanic, but if breeding monsters and furries is your jam, this is your game. Next up is Summertime Saga. Technically, this title has aspects that could make every list, but the ability to pursue, woo, and knock up virtually every female character in this town is definitely a core component of the game. The pregnancies take 1 week to discover, 1 week to show, and 3 weeks to come to term. I'm not sure what happens to all of those babies, but the flavor here is impregnation, not flavor of the week babies. This is illegal, and you'll give yourself kuru. I mean, this is all fantasy, so maybe you can avoid horrific prion diseases, but no. Anyways, Summertime Saga is available on PC, Mac, and Android, is freaking awesome, has all of the flavors, excluding cannibalism, and everyone should try it. Speaking of eating people, next up is Ravager. In it, you play as a very hungry and very horny dragon. Is it okay to eat people as a dragon? If I ever meet one, I assure you that won't be a question that comes up. Just like in Mass Effect, all of the sex and violence is 100% consensual, and if you doubt it, there are plenty of people online who will go into great detail defending and explaining the fictional actions of fictional people. Why is the dragon only breeding with humans and monster girls? I'm not really sure. I mean, is there a difference between a human and non-sapient creatures in a dragon's eyes? Would they even consider us to be sapient, or just a pack of monkeys with slightly better tools? The game definitely puts the power in power fantasy, and if you like the idea of a baby-making dragon, Ravager is definitely the game for you. I'll link to the Patreon as well as to the free downloads for PC, Mac, and Android on itch.io. Next up is Love and Sex Second Base. I covered this slice of life dating simulator and harem juggler back in March. Each update brings us more characters to date, impregnate, and add to various themed harem configurations. I am concerned that eventually the harems will become so massive that much like a star, it will collapse in upon itself, creating a harem black hole, ending all life on the planet. That might be the greatest dating sim ending since Hatoful Boyfriend. Currently, all of the characters stay pregnant and don't give birth, so if you manage to avoid all of the sharks, bears, and beheadings, you can end up with a lot of pregnant bellies. The developer has made an awesome game and hates it when people suggest that you need a walkthrough to successfully create some of the harems, so I'm definitely not going to tell you that. Love and Sex Second Base is available on PC on Steam and PC, Mac, and Android on itch.io. I'll also link to the Patreon and to the free demo on itch.io as well. Another game that definitely doesn't need a walkthrough is Peasant's Quest. This is an epic fantasy about the son of a farmer and their unstoppable quest to knock everything and everyone up. Humans, gnomes, orcs, ogres, you name it. The MC is channeling Zeus levels of magical impregnation shenanigans. One of my Patreons, Trude Perkins, suggested making a Zeus simulator, which I think would be epic. Yeah, I know that Titan's Quest is trying to do the whole Greek mythology thing, and I'm keeping an eye on it as new builds come out. Maybe that's what Peasant's Quest is building to. Impregnate enough monster girls and you ascend to godhood like Hercules or Kratos. Kratos actually means strength, and their siblings were Nike, victory, Bia, force, and Zealous, motivation. Our peasant could be their long-lost sibling, Gonimo-Pio, the Impregnator. Anyways, this fantasy breeding journey is available on PC and Mac, and I'll link to the Patreon and to the latest free public build. Next up is Corruption. Now, two of the flavors that seem to have a serious overlap are corruption and impregnation. I wonder if it's because of societal sexual gatekeeping. We desire optimal individual impregnation outcomes, and corruption is a tool to tear down those barriers, taboos, and mores to help us get there. But I know you all didn't come here to hear about my pontifications about Iron Age sexual norms in a post-industrial society. This game is a magical mind control dating sim about gradually tearing down these walls in a modern day society and the increasingly fantastical outcomes that each new update brings. This takes a more power exchanging BDSM take on impregnation, where just like a collar, piercing, or crotch tattoo, the pregnancy is a physical manifestation of total submission to the MC. The game itself is rough, but this is a deeper exploration of these flavors than you normally get from an adult content video game. Corruption is available on PC, Mac, and Android, and I'll link to the Patreon. A lot of you have requested the next game, Lab Rats 2. This is a very ambitious mind control trainer. You research, refine, and release an increasingly complex collection of chemical concoctions. Many of these have to do with impregnation. Want to increase or decrease fertility? We got that. Want to shorten gestation or delay it indefinitely? We got that too. Want to make a person uncontrollably lactate and be obsessed with getting pregnant to the point of wearing a collar that says breeder? Oh, do we got that. So, Annie, that sounds awesome. Why have you not covered this yet? See, Lab Rats 2 has this amazing mechanic and deep customizable clothing and characters. It just doesn't have much in a way of a story yet. I have no doubt that this will eventually be an amazing game. It's just that right now it's more an amazing tech demo. Also, I would love to suggest more faces to choose from in the characters. There seems to be millions of outfit combinations and like 6 face types. Lab Rats 2 is free to play on the PC, Mac, and Android, and I'll link to the Patreon and to the Get Good where you can download the almost necessary mods and patches. Next up is Forgotten Paradise. This completed visual novel is from the same developer Void Star as Pandora's Box, another completed title that I covered in the Flavor of the Week Femdom. A developer in the adult games industry with multiple completed titles? I know, that sounds insane. I assure you that the plot of Forgotten Paradise is even more insane. You and your family are placed on a space station bereft of their memories in a human experiment worthy of Vault Tech. There are multiple pregnancy options, outcomes, and otherworldliness to uncover depending on the choices you make, and I'm looking forward to a sequel. Forgotten Paradise is available on the PC and Mac, and I'll link to the Patreon and to the free download. Next up is another finished title, Damsels and Dungeons. You are the lord of a castle, and all of the prototypical RPG adventurers you hire happen to be female. You also gain magical power through engaging in amorous activities. It's no wonder that this is a game with heavy impregnation themes. Delve into dungeons and unlock new spells and abilities through leveling and sexual exploration. This is an older title and the graphics reflect this, but the game is really fun and it's really cool seeing all of the archetypal tabletop fantasy characters and their personalities. Damsels and Dungeons is available for PC and Mac, and I'll link to the Patreon as well as to the free download. Next up is a newer title, Strive Conquest. This is a text-based trainer game that allows you to bend and breed to your heart's desire. This is a fantasy-themed game with a ton of RPG mechanics and customizability. I'm really excited to see how in-depth the visual paper doll system becomes. Currently, there's a huge gap between the depth and detail of a text adventure game and the visuals. I guess that's why they're called text adventures. But seriously, look at Dwarf Fortress. There is no way we could have stories about murder elephants and drunken dying cats in a modern graphic game. Heck, I'd just love to see customizable characters and clothes that reflect pregnancy. Oh, and tattoos. Oh, and piercings. Oh, okay, maybe I want to see a lot of things, but this game still looks awesome and has a ton of impregnation themes to explore. Strive Conquest is available on PC and Mac, and I'll link to the Patreon and to the free-ish download on itch.io. Finally, we have Slugs and Bugs Conversion. This is a trainer-type strategy game where you play as an invading alien hive mind. Think Zerg from StarCraft, or the bugs from Starship Troopers. Now you get to create your own stable of Sarah Kerrigans to breed your bug army to fight and capture new recruits. This is a very corruption and power exchange focused game with an extreme focus on breeding and transformation. This is more of a niche flavor combination, but the whole point of Flavors of the Week is to potentially provide something for everyone. So, Radio Free Zerg. Slugs and Bugs Conversion is available on PC and Mac, and I'll link to the Patreon. There you have it. I know there was a lot of amazing impregnation games that didn't make the list. Let me know which titles you wish to have seen, because I'm positive I'm going to have to do a follow-up list later this year. Let me know which games you liked, and be sure to continue to let me know in detail how Commander Shepard is the faultless epitome of virtue. And as always, no shaming, just gaming.